It's date night. Are you ready?
It's date night.
It's ladies' night. Oh, it's date night.
That was last week.
I'm sorry, sometimes I get it all mixed up. There's so many, but I love it. Hey, we're jacked up you joined us tonight. Gaye and I are going to spend a few minutes with you. Here's the news. Are you ready? We don't know everything. We don't do everything right. We're still learning a lot as we go. So we feel like we're in the same battle as you. But you know what? We're going to get better. We're going to get stronger. We're going to do better. We're going to keep growing and stretching. We have had a lot of fun, can I tell you? We've had a lot of fun. Maybe we've helped some people, and that's been exciting. We've actually seen some people really grow, and now they're helping others, and that's really exciting. And we've actually even seen some people that really a lot of people would have given up on, that now are thriving more than they could ever imagine. So it's a beautiful joy. It doesn't matter where you are tonight. I can imagine some of you are just getting home from work. Some of you are running around, and I just want to encourage you for just 30 minutes. Try to silence your phone. Try to put the noise out of the room. Hopefully you've already done that. Hopefully, men, you've already stepped up and said, hey, this is my moment to do that, and we're going to grow together. What are we going to talk about
first
tonight?
I want to give exciting news about last date night, all the texts we're getting.
Oh, I know.
About all the people that got real creative with their dates.
Yes.
It was even giving us great ideas. And we even got a couple more today. They were like, we forgot to text you and tell you that we decided that was a great idea to continue to date. And I think one lady that texted me, they've been married 20 years. And they had kind of forgotten to date. And so she got real creative and it was cool. So thank you for the feedback, because I think it's important that we see that.
We love when you give us feedback, because we'll take your ideas and put them in a book. So it'll be really, really awesome.
We'll blank out the name. It'll say anonymous.
But seriously, we do love your feedback. We love your texts, your emails, your private messaging. Thank you so much for making all that happen. Well, what are we gonna talk about tonight?
Well, we want to talk tonight about serving.
Serving.
But before we talk about that,
all right, I like serving.
I like serving.
Yeah.
He likes serving. We're gonna have to talk first about mindset.
Mindset.
But why is that?
I guess I got to get my mind right. I think we got to get our minds right, because seriously, when somebody says serving, some of you are going like, what? What? You think I'm going to serve another person? You think I'm going to put myself in a place where I would take my time and my energy? That kind of seems demeaning. It seems lower. But can I tell you truthfully, when you start serving, and if you really get in this fight every day of your life to help serve each other, you'll have so much fun, because you can leave a trail behind you of just life change when you serve. So let's talk about that for a second. And I do want to say this before you weigh in here on this, okay? We've got to learn how to serve and be served without making the other person feel like a servant.
That's right.
We've got to make them feel like, wow, you are a queen, you are a king. You have such value. Because if somebody just feels like they're serving and it's not appreciated, or it's not noticed, or we don't value it, do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's demoralizing. So anyhow, let's go.
Let's talk about, because you know what, Tim, I realized, and well, for really all of us, most of us have never seen that lived out, or don't really understand it. No. So that's why it becomes this mindset and a mind shift, because like in my home, I'm so grateful for my mom and dad, but I saw my dad serve, but I never saw my mom really serve. And so as a woman, I had to make some decisions. I had to change my mind and go into a mind shift, because before you're married, before you get in a relationship, it's a me thing. Like you get up in the day and it's like, I'm going to go do this, and I feel like doing this, and I feel like eating here.
I have my list.
And then you get in a relationship, and then you get married, and it's we going to do this, and where are we going to eat, and what are we going to do, and
That's when the fight got started.
That mind shift from me to we is hard.
Yes.
It's hard, but what you realize is the power of serving. And you realize that everybody comes from a different place. Sure. So some people, like you said, think I don't like this. I don't want to do this. Some people are like, you don't understand. I've never seen it done. Right. And I think it's important. That was one thing we really wanted to have in our home, was we knew that we were raising future spouses. That's a hint. You are not just raising kids, you're raising future spouses, and they're watching you. They're walking around with a notebook and they're going, this is how you do it. And so we knew that we wanted to put serving as one of the number one values in our home.
Sure.
But I personally had to make a mind shift because of what I had never really seen. And so I had to consciously every day get up to understand how powerful it was for me to serve you. And I will be honest, we're going to talk about this because we're going to break down the word serve and we're going to get into the nitty gritty, and it's going to be basically all my dirty laundry of what I had to learn to do it. But I really hope you're paying attention. I really hope you get this. And I hope that in your mind right now, you're able to put aside what you think about it or what you don't think about it or how you don't want to do it. And let's just kind of open it up and talk about it.
So you and I were kind of raised the opposite.
Yep.
My mom was an amazing server. And I saw my dad, I get emotional. I saw my dad not honor it. And it broke my heart. And I remember as a boy, about 12 or 13, I remember saying to myself, I will never do that to my wife ever in my life. And it's amazing how you make these decisions early in your life. I'm not putting down my dad. My dad never had a father. He never really saw a functional family. So he was just trying to get through life. And boy, the value of information, the value of a mentor, the value of an example, the value of just your words and attitudes matter. And I will tell you, I think really for starting, Gaye, if we're going to go here, I think all of this really begins with awareness. Absolutely. It begins to understand that my presence really does matter. Now, when I first started thinking about marriage, I thought, boy, this is going to be great because I'm going to get a lady and she's going to take care of everything. And I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch the world go by. And I wasn't married very long before it was like, big boy, you're going to find out that marriage is more about giving than receiving. And it's more about serving than it is being served. But the joy you find in it, kind of like going to the weight room. At first, you kind of hate lifting that first weight. But the more you do it, the more addicted you get to it. And it starts building you from the inside. And it starts putting character in you that the rest of the world doesn't understand. And so I just want to encourage you to be aware and really start looking for needs. Start looking for needs that are in somebody's life. And I want to punch pause just 1 second, and then you go, okay? Because I think a lot of us like to do things for people outside of them. And it's so easy to do things and go, I served you. But I want to just challenge you to go a little bit deeper. Will you do it? And not just do things around somebody, but will you serve them in the deepest needs of their soul, in the deepest needs of their gifting, in the deepest needs of their talents and of their dreams and of their desires. And I will tell you that service is never, normally for the person doing the serving, is never really very convenient. Right. And I think it's the inconvenience that we put ourselves in that calls us to bring such value to another person's life. So anyhow, that we're giving you a lot there in a short time. I hope you're able to just kind of write down. And if you have some questions, email us and we'll expound on it a little bit more. Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to start with the S.
Let's go with the S.
S and serve, which is pretty appropriate. The S in serve stands for sacrifice, because serving is a sacrifice. You and I will get at least 100 times a day, probably, an opportunity to do something that's outside of us, that has nothing to do with us, where we're not focused on us, because serving is a sacrifice. You just said it. Almost always it's not going to be convenient. Almost always the opportunity is not the way you want it. If you think about, I always think about the life of Jesus and how when Jesus was serving, it was always on the way to go do something else. Right. And he was always stopped in the middle of what he was doing. And ladies, listen to me. I know because I'm one of you. We're busy. You have all this going on. And if you've got kids, you've got all this, and you've got this going on and that going on and this going on. And to serve and to stop and serve and to sacrifice and to take that time, It's not going to be convenient. You've already got your list. You've already got the we list going. It's going to take sacrifice. And I really ask us, all of us, to first understand the sacrifice, and then to be, like you said, to be aware. Sure. And can I say this, because I already had this down in my notes when you brought it up. Sacrificing and serving someone, you can get to where you're serving so much and you're getting so good at it that you're serving around the person and the reason why you're serving. And that person is here and you're serving all day around them, and it's actually all going nowhere because you're really not even serving that person. You're really not even seeing where they are. All you're doing is honestly seeing yourself, and you're saying, look what I've done. You know, I talked to the lady the other day and she was like, you don't understand. I did this today and I did this today and I did this today and I feel like I still didn't do enough. And I'm like, because you're counting it all and you're adding it up and you're totaling it and you're doing all this and you're missing him right there. He's right there. And so be aware of what the sacrifice is costing and be aware of what you're doing, because I'm 100% guilty of this, and it's important that you understand the power of it.
And I just want to say, if this is a new concept, or maybe you've never done it, right now this is not about you feeling guilty. It's not about you feeling shame. It's not about you honestly ribbing each other and going, see, they're talking to you. That's not what this is about. This is about, there's a whole nother level. There's a time now we can level up. There's a time now we can get to a next level. And so I can start doing this. And so I just want to encourage you for the next 30 days to just go, okay, let me be aware. So let me help you be aware, okay? You can go to the other person and say, how can I help? How can I help take something off your plate? How can I help? Is there something I could do? I will never forget, she came to me one time early because she loves a lot of pillows on the bed. Oh my goodness. There's so many pillows. Jesus couldn't find his way into our bed. I'm just telling you right now, he'd be like, what do I do with these? And when I would get in bed, it would be like, what do I do with these pillows? And so I would turn them into Frisbees because it was fun. And she would come in and go, what are you doing with my pillows? I said, I'm trying to get in bed. She said, what could I do to serve you? I go, if you could just have these pillows cleared out. Because at the time, she would stay home more at night and I would get home really late. And I just said, if you can get the pillows cleared out so that I don't do this, it would be a big help. Can I tell you, the first time I walked in and the lights and the bed and it was turned down, I guess that's why they do it at hotels. That's right. The turn down service. It was amazing to me how different it felt. It was like, I can breathe. I can breathe. Do you know what else it meant? It meant she had pre-thought before I got home. I think if every day we can think about one or two things that we can go in advance. That's right. And before they ask for it. By the way, can I just tell you one thing? If something's really important to somebody and we forget it, that makes a tough moment. So I just want to encourage you, find out what's important and ask, how can I help? And the second question is, what do you need? Now, don't say it in a sarcastic put down like you're weak. Really say it in a way of, honey, I really want to know. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to make an adjustment. Are you ready? I feel really weird when people serve me. Even now. Sunday morning when we were at church, Josh was there and Carlos was standing right there with me. I don't know if you guys are on here tonight. But I would take my coat off because it was so hot. And when I would, they would grab my coat and want to hang it up. And I think I let them do it once because I kept taking it on and off. And finally I just went and did it myself because I'm not really that comfortable with being served. I love serving. And here's what I had to learn in my life, ladies and gentlemen. You can destroy and steal the joy out of somebody's life if you don't give them the privilege to serve. And so I just want to encourage you for the next 30 days. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. Just next 30 days. Give this a shot. Just give it a shot. And don't worry. It'll feel weird at first. It's okay. And if you'll just start being aware, and if you'll really ask God to help you to care, I think you're going to be amazed at what happens. 2 words I really want you to get with this too, okay? Number 1 is understanding. When you start to serve, understand. Understand the need of why you're serving and understand the impact
That's right.
that when you serve, what it's going to make. Also, understand the impact if you don't. It's powerful. The next one is kindness. Have you ever had somebody serve you, but they're really not serving you? I will never forget, I was flying, and back when they used to serve food on airplanes. You remember that? Now it's like, hey, take a bag of pretzels and here's a bottle of water. Can I tell you, there was a time they actually fed you on airplanes.
They did,
and
with tablecloth.
And I will never forget, the flight attendant came by and said, would you like it? I said, I would love a Diet Coke. And she opened a can of Coke and threw the Coke down on my tray, and I went, wow, I hope that felt as good for you as it did just me. Because it was like she was going through the motions, but I couldn't feel the caring and the kindness and the understanding. I just want to let you know, the people that are around you, those of you that are leaders, always be aware that you don't really understand what went on in somebody's life, what went on in somebody's week, what went on in somebody's day. Can I tell you, those of us that are married, we have a significant other in our life, can I tell you, you have no idea. You have no idea what that person is dealing with. So I just want to encourage you to take those moments and do that. As you can tell, there's way more to talk about on this than we got time to talk about. But
well, because you just hit the E, which is excitement. And that's to serve with the right heart.
Oh my gosh.
Because if you don't, it's like, why even do it? And that comes back down to, again, if all we do is go, yeah, but I did this, and yet I did this, and you don't have excitement to just do it and just to serve that person. And, you know, we say this all the time, but everything you do starts at home. Everything you're going to do out first starts at home. And so if we can't get it at home, we're not going to be able to do it out. Or maybe we do it better out and then we forget to do it at home. So I really ask you to make sure that we're excited, that the E is for excitement, that you have the right heart, that you want to do it. And again, you're teaching your children this. Your children are watching. Your children are seeing. We used to go places and we had taught our kids to make sure they served, and they would walk into someone's home and they would walk right into the kitchen and say, Miss whoever is, can I help you? Is there any way we can serve you? And most people look at them like, who are you? Like, why would you do that? Our kids aren't perfect, trust me, because they were raised by 2 imperfect parents. But the one thing we wanted was for them to serve. And I remember when we taught them, Tim, I really wanted them to make sure they were aware of you and that they served you. And so they used to actually get in fights and arguments of who was going to take over to your plate, because we always served Dad first, always. Your food always went first. And so they'd be like, it's my turn. I want to take him his plate. I want to take his plate. I'm like, okay, you taking something to drink, you take him a plate. But there was an excitement to serve because they had such a heart to serve. And I just please make sure that you don't forget the excitement in serving and you have the right heart in serving.
I think it's so easy to go out in the world and give your best to everyone else. All your excitement. The word I wrote down was energy. I think it's easy to come home and give the leftovers. And so I just want to encourage you to make your spouse a priority.
That's right.
And always keep a reserve of excitement. One of the things I always enjoy about you is she gets so excited about the little things. She gets so excited about the little things that matter most. And so we've tried, we haven't always done it, but we've tried to set an example of our children. While they were fighting to serve me, I was teaching them also to fight to serve her. And so, most people when they read the Bible, they handpick little scriptures, and that's what they build their lives on. So, it's easy for us to read in Ephesians where it says, wives, submit to the husband, which the Bible actually teaches mutual submission, which really means, I really want you to hear me right now, it really means that we're both under the mission. And so it's not that you're serving somebody, you're actually serving the mission together. But I just want to encourage you to have energy and passion and fire. I mean, let me just get personal for a second. Have you been guilty like I have to go out and give my best to everyone else, and when I come home, I'm empty? And so I just never in my life want that to happen. I want to be able to come home and have the energy I need, to have the patience that I need, to have the gentleness that I need to see needs and fill in on it. And we'll just watch that. We'll watch God just do amazing things. Go ahead, we'll keep cranking here.
The R, we'll do it really quick, stands for repeat. Why is that? Because so many times we think once we've done something and once we've done an act of
Right.
service, we're good, check, move on. And again, I was talking to a lady one day and she goes, I heard you talk one time about serving you and your husband. And so I thought, okay, well, I've never really done this before. And she really, actually she cried. She said, I've never served my husband. I never, ever even thought to do anything for him. And so she said, so I decided to go do this one thing for him. Now I got to say something really quick. What happens a lot of times, because we're not serving it with the right heart, we're only serving with an expectation of what that person's going to say back or give back to us, then it's not going to go well. And so in her mind, because she'd never done it, she was going to serve her husband with this massive expectation. Understand, she'd never done it before. So she went and did this big thing and she served, and his reaction actually was, who are you? And now what? Like, what did you break? Where's the car? Did you wreck? All these things.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? What did I do wrong? And then she was like, and so she called me. She goes, okay, I served him this one time and I'm done. This doesn't more. And I went, oh my word. No, you repeat and you repeat and you repeat. And you do it without this expectation of what's going to be given back to you. And if you really think about what Jesus has done for us, everything he's ever done has never been done with this expectation of what's got to come back. Unconditionally, he has loved us and served us and always listened to us and always taken. And you know, that's another big thing that I want to talk about, is that I believe a way to serve is to be a listener with your husband, and a listener with your wife is a way to serve them. And so same incident, I'm talking to this lady, first of all, talking her off the ledge, helping her understand that the one time wasn't it, and the fact was he didn't know what was going on. And then I talked with her about other ways that she could serve. And so she talked about how she's a talker, and never really listened. And so it was another way for her to serve her husband, was to actually listen to him and listen to his needs. Now I want to say this because you talked about this, Tim, that we've asked people to make sure they go to your spouse and say, how can I serve you? And most of you are going, oh my word, that scares the mess out of me. If I go ask my wife how I can serve her, she's going to give me a list a mile long, and there's just no way. And I really want to ask you, first of all, don't do that, ladies and men. But be grateful they've even come to you. I mean, when I came to you and asked about serving, it was simple things. And I was so grateful for that. But then I realized more and more as we've been married and I've learned you, there's other things that serve you. Sure. And there's other things that can help you. So
I love this repeat. I just kind of want to challenge you to remember. If you're going to serve, remember. And I want to encourage you, sometimes in life, you can go through really hard times and build a bunch of bad memories. And really, that's what causes people to lose patience with each other. And I just want to encourage you to remember with gratitude and thankfulness that God brought you together. Right. Remember that they're called by God and they have a gift and they're valuable. Just remember what you said when you got married. Remember the dreams that you had inside of you. Remember that feeling that you had when you were in love, and fight for that. And I just don't know how you're going to do this, ladies and gentlemen, without you reading. You've got to read. Gaye and I read profusely. I've learned and I've unlearned and I've relearned and I keep relearning. And so I just want to encourage you, keep reading, grow in you. And one of the things I want you to just realize, and you know this already, the person that you dated 6 months ago is not the same person now. The person that you married 6 months ago is not the same person now. If you've been married 10 years, it's not the same person. Gaye and I have been married 30 years, and I promise you, she's not the same woman. Yes, she's the same woman, but her needs have changed. A lot of things have changed in her life. And so if we get to grow together, it's powerful. I will never forget the first time she came to me and she goes, oh my gosh, I'm in hot flashes. And she goes, oh, this is so embarrassing. And I said, I think this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I get to experience a woman with hot flashes. This is a joy. This is a gift. And she was kind of looking at me like, are you nuts? But it didn't take her very long to go, okay, so I see how this is going to roll out. You're happy with me no matter what. Do you know what most of us are thinking right now? Am I enough? Am I enough? And I just want to let you know, you are enough. So the V stands for what?
Value.
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 Talk to
Value
us.
each other and to notice each other.
Yes.
And I've got to say this because this is a huge thing in serving. When we serve each other, we got to make sure that we value it enough that we appreciate it and we don't, I got to say this, we value it instead of critique it. And there's a big difference. And we did a marriage conference, seminar, relationship talk, however we want to say it. It Takes Two, whatever we called it back then, years ago. And we were in Phoenix, Arizona. And you and I got up and we talked on serving and we talked on appreciation and we talked on getting out of you and serving. And so we gave ideas of what you could do. And so in that hotel, there was an Einstein bagel place inside the hotel. And so two things happened. You can talk about the one, but two things. So we get up the next morning and we go down to the Einstein Bagel. And I'm like, babe, I can't even get in the Einstein Bagel. There is a line all the way out the door. And I said, it's all men. It was like crazy strange. Well, come to find out that all the men from that night that heard our talk decided they were going to serve their wives. All of them came up with this idea. We must have suggested it. All the women were supposed to stay in bed, and all the men were going to go get them their favorite bagel sandwich, and they were all so excited. And we were just saying, we were clapping for them and telling them how great they were. And this man came over to me, and with tears in his eyes, and he said, "Okay, I did what you said. Now tell me how I deal with this." And I said, "Oh my word, sir, what is wrong?" And he said, "My wife. I went in the room, woke her up and said, I got you a bagel. I got you a bagel sandwich." And he said, I handed it to her and she took one bite and she spit it out and threw it in the trash and said, "We've been married how long and you don't remember I don't like that kind of cheese." And he said, "What do I do with this?" And I'm just going to tell you, that's when the holy anger came over me. And I'm like, "Where's your wife, sir?" And he pointed over to her and I went over and prayed before I went over. And I just went and I just said, "Ma'am, I'm asking you, listen to me, please. What you just did to your husband, you killed him. He never wants to do anything for you again." I said, "I don't care if you got to eat it and throw it up later. I don't care. Be grateful for what he did for you." And when you're not grateful when someone, instead you want to critique it. It's not what I thought. It's not how I thought. I mean, I will never forget this. You were so gracious with me, babe. I had this favorite cream. Some of you have heard this story. This favorite cream. Tara, you would love this.
Oh
it was from, sad to say, it's Victoria's Secret. And it was pear
Victoria had a secret
cream.
already.
Victoria had a secret.
Lord
Pear cream. It was the best ever.
What kind of cream was it?
Pear cream.
It smelled like pears, ladies and gentlemen.
Pear cream.
Pear
and it was
cream.
so great. And I would wait till it would go on clear. I remember we were on the road. I remember this in Reston, Virginia, and we were in between speaking, and I went, "Oh my word, they've got a sale on their cream." And I ran in there and I got all this cream because this is what I would do. I would serve my husband by giving him a back massage with my pear cream. Yes, ladies. Thank you very much. Yes, I did. And for years, I would go by. I had stacks of pear cream, and I would rub it on his back, and then I'd get it on my arms, and I'm just like, "Oh, I love the pear." And I'll never forget one day, after years of doing this and rubbing it on his back, and he looked at me and he goes, "Babe, I love you so much, but pear cream reminds me of poverty." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "The old ladies that we go to their houses and they were poor and didn't have anything. It was like all they could afford was a cream that smelled like that." And for how many years I was massaging my husband's back with pear cream, but he never said anything to me. He was so gracious to let me. So my point is this.
There'll be some stars in my crown over this. I just want to let you know.
I'm going to find some pear cream and it's going to be in his stocking for Christmas. But
Jesus.
What is my point?
Let me know if you like it. Raise your hand. I'll send it to you. I'm so excited about it. She would go and get cases of this stuff. And I'd just be going,
it was on clearance.
The beatings are about to increase with the parakeet.
I never knew why he didn't like for me to rub his back. I'm thinking most men would be like, bring it on.
I can't tell her. She's so excited. She's so serving. She's sacrificing. She's investing.
I was repeating.
She's so kind. She was so gentle. I'm going like, I can't tell her. And finally I couldn't take it. I said, I'm begging you before a holy God, please don't bring that bear cream in here on me anymore. Which the V for me stands for voice. Hey, your words, your tones, they matter. How you speak to one another, if you speak to one another. I want to encourage you, man, if you're going to serve, say it. And then I encourage you to show it. And watch what happens in your life. Notice, add value. When people are around you, do they just, because of your words, do they feel the appreciation and the affirmation? Man, we can do that. The E stands for what, baby?
The E stands to evaluate.
The E stands for
E
pear
stands
cream.
to pear cream.
Don't you buy me pear cream. I'm just telling you.
I can see it coming now from Amazon. But evaluate. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, evaluate your heart at what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because this is the thing. If you find yourself noticing more about what you're doing than noticing the person you're serving, then you need to reevaluate. Because if all you're doing is noticing what you're doing and not noticing the person, you need to reevaluate. And I just believe we need to sit down and look at it and go, how am I doing this? And you can even do it as husband and wife to say, hey, how am I doing with this?
Yes.
What can this is the thing. I still make sure I pull the bed back and I still make sure that I lay the pillows out. But there's other ways now that you need me to serve you as that you didn't need me to serve you years ago. It changes. So evaluate what that is. Evaluate what that looks like. And then you change it up because it's very different after the years go by.
Yeah, I just want to challenge you. You know, we have a conference every year called Elevate. And I think when you serve, I think you elevate them, and I think it elevates you, and I think it elevates the people around you. And so as you elevate, you lift, you build. And you know, you're either tearing people down or you're building up. And so you get to decide if you're going to do that. And we can all get better. We all can set a better example. So I'm just going to challenge you for the next 30 days until the next time we get together. I just want to challenge you to begin to serve. Some of you, it may feel really uncomfortable. Some of you may be, oh man, this is not for me. Some of you have a gift of service. And you know what? I just encourage you to be really sensitive to one another. Because some of you are hungry for service, and other you are really kind of introverts, and you're going like, I don't know about that. You know, and a lot of times when you start to serve somebody, that they think you want something from them versus just, hey, let me give the gift and you accept it and receive it as you need to. Gaye and I just love you and believe in you so much. I am so excited to see you on this call tonight with us. I hope this has added value to your life, and you have some last words you'd like to say.
Just that I love you guys so much. And get creative, get really creative in your serving and really ways that you can serve. And actually, if you'll do us a favor and you can actually text us, a lot of you have our numbers, and maybe ways that you thought of this week, ways that you've created of things you can do, and really start being aware of what that looks like and start being just, I don't know, just doing different things. Because again, your family, if you have children, they are watching and you are teaching them how to serve. And now they're going to continue it generation after generation after generation after generation. And you really are breaking a lot of curses in families when you start to do that. And I was able to start breaking something honestly in my family, because I even go and watch things in my family, that my distant family, and I see where things have never been changed and never been broken and never been understood, that serving really does open the door for so many things, because the first thing it does is it gets rid of you, and instead it helps you focus on the other person.
I really do want to challenge you in the next 30 days. Serve without expecting anything in return. When you are served, will you just promise yourself that you will notice it, that you will acknowledge it, that you will be grateful for it, and that you will begin to just do more and more? I want to challenge you, if you have children, to get them involved in serving. You can't believe right now How many of your little children want to help you, Mom, do the laundry? Dad, help you do the laundry? How many of your little children want to help clean the pool? Whatever your life is, blow the weeds off, blow the grass off the driveway. I know it takes extra time. I used to watch her with our children, especially our daughter. She loved to cook with her, and we bought these little stools. If you come to our house, I'd show them to you. And she bought them their own utensils and their own bowls. And I would walk in the kitchen and flour would be everywhere. And I remember the time that it took extra on her to bring him into it. And I know moms, I know you're overwhelmed. Dads, I know you're overwhelmed. But just remember this. When you serve, you can never get it back. You invested it. And this sacrifice word, let me just be pastoral for 1 second, and then we're done. When you look at what Jesus has done for us, he sacrificed, he suffered. And he said, now I want you to love one another in this way. Sacrificing means I'm going to invest in you. Suffering sometimes, if I've done something to hurt another person, yeah, I'm going here tonight. And I've got to go and say, I'm sorry. Maybe they don't immediately feel healed enough for it just to be normal. And I just want you to just be willing to hang in there with them enough to where they can get healed up, and then they will begin to get in this fight together where we're going to serve and raise a standard. We can't wait to be with you next month. Go kill it. We've got this done. Love you.
We love you.
Bye-bye. Love you.
I'm waving him anyway.
Okay.
Pete.
Hey, Pete, I love you.
Jason was on. Jason Stone from Wisconsin.
Really?
Josh's friend.
Wow. So good to see all of you guys.
We're off.
We're off.
Sorry.
Who's that golfing?
Look at Edgar and Alicia.
Keith and Heidi.
Love you guys. We miss you. Now it's for round two.
Here's Josh and Kelsey.
This is for the round two right here. This is for all of you that hung around.
This is all the bloopers.
Now we're going to give you the real stuff you need to hear about. Love you guys. Go to bed.
Go serve. Tiffany.
All right. Did you make it? Oh, there he is, Matt. Put Matt back on. The liveliest man in TV. Look at Kelsey. What is she doing?
She can't quit laughing. What is that? Look at
You guys
her.
are on mute, just so you know. Oh!
Can you hear me? Josh, can you hear me? Wave at me.
They can definitely hear you.
You're all fixed now, just like I am. There's Bree. Look at her.
Delayed laugh.
And that's Tiffany.
Look at everyone saying, wait, there's Seth.
Look, for Seth. Where's Seth? Where's Seth? Where's Seth at?
She gotta show her.
How do you see Seth?
I don't see
See his
Seth.
name.
Oh.
You see us, Seth?
Seth.
Joshua Ray Revere's on here? Oh, yeah, Seth Aramotia. There he is.
Who's that right
Who
there?
is that right there? Hey, Jeremy Clay. Gosh, what a golf swing. Hey, there he is, Joshua C. Jensen. That must be Courtney.
That's Tiffany's mom.
Aww.
C. Jensen?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mama. We love you. It's good that James is on here. Look at him. All these beauties right here. There's Ray right there.
JB's on.
Jay, who?
I don't know.
JB, show up. Ray, I want that jersey, Bo. That thing is bad to the bone.
Edgar and Alicia talk.
Edgar and Alicia, I thought that was a picture of you at the beach. Oh yeah. You got a Honolulu girl right there, man. She doing the
Go
Lulu.
girl. They thought we were gonna give them more.
Yeah, they thought we really were. All right, now I've got the 10 points to more happiness. Seth, hey Seth, what are you doing, Seth?
No camera on.
Do you look bad?
We out in the Salt Lake family room sure love our G5.
Oh, that's so cool.
Family room.
Woo-hoo, family
I
room
love
in the
that,
house.
dude. There's Tiffany's mom. How are you?
Hi.
It's good to see
Her
you.
name's Shonda.
Shonda,
We
Sean?
miss
You're
you.
mute.
we miss you. There's Seth Haramoto.
Hiramoto.
You want to say hi to your daughter? It'll cost you $100, but it'll be all right. I'm going to start taking them off of my taxes. They come and eat at our house so much.
Hey, I provided something today.
She brought something tonight.
Shonda.
I think she found them at 7-Eleven. Nobody ate them. So good to see you all. All right, well we're gonna hang up here, right? I think I started something I can't stop. That's what I think I've done.
Bye. Love you.
Love you all.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great night.
Blessings. Good night.